Welcome to our Griffin Tank Defense of the Plan. I want to welcome our guests here this afternoon and assure you we're going to have a very interesting afternoon. I want to apologize for the unusual configuration of the room. I'm sure you're aware we have our Christmas carol sing tonight, and they use this room. So in order to get this room to this afternoon, I had to sort of allow them to put the tables in. So it's a little different, but I'm sure we'll all be just fine. Okay. This past fall, the students divided up into groups and met with members of the Chestnut Hill Business Association along with other businesses and nonprofits in the area. After discussion, 5 students groups had consulted agreements. They actually consulted with businesses. The students met with them, learned about specific businesses, discussed the issues, and ultimately they're given directives as to what the businesses wanted. And you will hear today some of the ups and downs and problems that arose based upon those directives from the businesses. The student groups discussed various concepts, completed research, met with business owners to review, and they met with other business faculty. They met with Bill Rogers, they met with Lars, they met with Kim, they met with all of us to try and say, okay, what are we doing wrong here? How do we do it better? How do we think this through to really put together a good plan? I am really excited about the judges we have here today, so I'd like to introduce each of them. I have Pierre, and Pierre, I never say your name right. Could you say it? He is we do have a lot of graduates, Chestnut Hill graduates here today, and I purposely did that to help celebrate our 100-year anniversary. Pierre is a 2022 graduate, majored in business administration and accounting, got his MBA in data analytics. He won Griffin Tank back in 2022 with Stadium Sprint, so be careful the questions he'll ask you. And he's currently employed as a senior communications manager at Walmart. And I just found this out. He is bilingual in English and Haitian Creole. That was pretty cool. Laura Hahn Carroll, and where is Professor Carroll? So for my class, who I say, this is the wife of Professor Carroll, that's Professor Carroll. We all love. But let me tell you about Laura. She has a BS in biology. She's been the director of business-to-business sales and events at Insomnia Cookies, and she did bring some for everyone to share today. She has over 10 years experience in sales, catering, events, and customer service, and she seems to consistently exceed all her targets. She's co-director of Camp Celiac in Rhode Island and is a cross-cultural solutions volunteer, which is really pretty cool. Then we have Kent and Lori Griswold. Kent is a serial entrepreneur whose first enterprise was starting a summer camp at age 14. I love telling that story. He is the founder and producer of The Wolf Pack, which our class watched, and introduced Wall Street, a board game, and founder of Zord Games, and introduced Wall Street, a board game where one takes on a role of investor trying to beat out their fellow investors to be crowned the king of Wall Street. He was the former president and CEO of Griswold Home Health Care and is on numerous boards. Lori Griswold, I always say, is his better half, and she is a nationally known policy analyst, gerontologist, and aging issues coach. She serves as a consultant in long-term care and compliance and has worked with Fortune 500 and government agencies on pre-retirement planning, and she's authored articles, and she's on various boards. And on a personal note, I really need to say this, we would not have our MBA program that we now have today if not for the insight, advice, and mentorship of Lori and Kent. I cannot thank you enough for how you helped me put that together. I have Loretta McLaughlin. She is the former Chief Financial Officer of the Sisters of Mercy, former Chief Operating Officer for McGee Rehabilitation. She's also been employed at Arco Chemical as a management consultant. She is a member of our Business Advisory Council and another Chestnut Hill alumnus. Alphonse isn't here yet, but Alphonse is another CHC alum, and he is co-founder of the clinic and clinician of Brightside Medical Associates. I have Luis Perez, another CHC alumnus, who is, he got his degree in International Business Language and Culture. He is a senior client associate at JP Morgan Chase. Those of you here that are looking at finance, you've got Luis, you've got Kent. Guys, you need to network. And while it's Chestnut Hill, is vice president and co-founder of La Vox Latina. Then we have Lorraine Riviello. Lorraine is Rivello. I'm sorry. I always do it wrong. I am sorry. Lorraine Rivello. She is also a Chestnut Hill graduate. She, with a major in math, which I can't understand anyone majoring in math, she completed executive education programs at Harvard, Emory, and the University of Pennsylvania, and she's a retired executive from the IBM Corporation. She also is a member of our business council. And then we have a very interesting individual, Christopher Civil. Did I say it right? He is a Chestnut Hill alumnus, but not from business, from communications. Am I correct? Communications. And he is the Deputy Director of Communications for the New Jersey Senate Republican Office. So his thought process is very different than our business. So I'd be very interested in the questions he asked you all today. So we have a very impressive group of judges with extensive experience. They have all reviewed your plans. They've come prepared to question each group. So let us get started. Our first group is the Antique Gallery. Jamie, Santiago, Nelson, and Elizabeth, it's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. This is my team members, and my name is Elizabeth. That's Nelson, Jamie, and Santiago. Our business plan is on the Antique Gallery. The owner is Mr. Skolch, and he is located in Chestnut Hill, Germantown. He sells unique antiques and objects dating back from the 18th century, such as pottery, porcelain, jewelry, arts and paintings, and sculptures.
In our current market analysis, we were able to spot some key trends that are beneficial to the antique gallery. First being sustainability and eco-friendly purchasing, as younger crowds are increasingly drawn to antiques as sustainable alternatives to mass-produced goods that sadly but eventually end up somewhere on an island, in a forest, negatively impacting all forms of life. Second, we have digital growth and the usage of online marketplaces such as eBay, Instagram, Etsy, etc. As these marketplaces allow galleries to reach nationwide audiences as opposed to just small local audiences if they were to stick to the old-fashioned brick-and-mortar business approach. Next, we have market drivers, with one of the main market drivers being wealthy individuals. I know you guys are all thinking they're rich, they can afford it, but it's more than just that. They continuously drive demand for luxury antiques because they view them as investments and valuable assets that add character and charisma to their homes, businesses, and or workplaces. Another market driver is the rarity of the antiques. As we all know, antiques are either one of a kind or part of a one of a kind set. And in the market, if the supply for a specific item is scarce, then the value of that item increases significantly, and this is appealing in the eyes of collectors. Moving on to the biggest challenge faced in the antique market, fierce competition. Fierce competition is created by large online marketplaces, and this forces galleries to differentiate themselves by offering expertise, curation, and unique customer service, since they are now competing with antique galleries globally. The next big challenge is finding high quality authentic antiques, because it's usually difficult and unpredictable, since most galleries rely on auctions and estate sales to acquire these antiques. And this can lead to inconsistent inventory, which impacts stock and pricing. Thank you.
Okay, so now talking about the competition, the antique gallery has two main competitors, locals. We got first of all the George T. Hope Fine Art, and secondly the Bloom Chestnut Hill Antiques. They're both located in the Chestnut Hill zone area, so that means they're pretty close. The three of them in the area of Chestnut Hill is 18-minute walk from each other's. The first one is dedicated himself to sell fine arts, collectibles. The second one, the one that says Bloom Chestnut Hill Antiques, it sells a variety of antiques. And it's important to mention that both of them, they focused in store sales, so that means they don't sell and they don't have any online presence. So that led us like they only dedicate themselves and they only focus themselves in local foot traffic. And there's some negative points that we find out from both competitors is that they don't have any e-commerce or any digital marketing. So that was our main point to find out the basic question, that it was like how the art antique gallery can be better than these competitors. How can be they ahead? How they can be ahead of these competitors? So the answer is pretty easy, and it's where we find also like the opportunity for the antique gallery to invest. And it was basically in investing in online presence. That's where they can find their strength and expand their research. So since these both competitors, they just focus on selling in local customers, while they use their online research and this target, they'll focus more in a global market research, and they will expand its business.
Next.
Yeah.
So in opportunities for improvement, when it comes down to foot traffic, when we first went to the antique gallery, we thought it was closed, but then we noticed you need to ring the bell in order for the owner to let you in. And we think this locked door policy is giving the impression that the store is closed and leading to a decrease of walk-ins that can be potential clients. And another major factor to address for improvement is the online presence. Currently, the antique gallery has no social media, no Facebook, no Instagram. They don't have, they're not on any of the e-commerce platforms such as Etsy or eBay. So they're limiting their audience reach. We recommended him, actually Rita gave us this idea for him to hire a marketing intern that can help him with the creation and management of these accounts. Because he's old and he told us he has no idea with how to manage the social media accounts. So he needed someone young to help him. And we gave him the possibility to get someone from the marketing department in Chestnut Hill.
One of the first things we recommend Mr. Skolch is to open a website, because he currently has one, but it doesn't really tell much about what his business is about. And the website should showcase all the products that he have with a clear picture so that the customers can see the products. And then, as Santiago said before, we should recommend him to hire an assistant that specializes in social media management, so that they can help him out, because he doesn't really know much about technology. We should also recommend him to expand and open an eBay and Etsy, because expanding both of them will allow him and the antique gallery to reach a global audience. They should also use professional photography and descriptions and close-ups of the products. He should also collaborate with other businesses in Chestnut Hill College and Chestnut Hill area, because it will help him increase his local presence and build community connections.
Okay, although it's important to mention that the owner didn't give us any financial numbers or anything like that, us as a group, we wanted to give us everyone some numbers so you guys know where we find out everyone. So we divide our finance Excel in different 5 categories. We wanted to mention five different categories that they know that he needs for sure to start opening his business up to a market online and to reach out more people. So first, to create a website development, we're just talking about a basic website, only $30 a month just for a basic one. We didn't want to get big steps because, as we said, he didn't even have any website or anything like that. So then employee salary, as we said, the owner is not very often in the store, so we don't know if he's going to be there or not, so he'll need to hire at least 1 or 2 employments. So we told him that at least he needs to give $30,000 a year, so that means $15 an hour around a $15 an hour for employee. Then online selling fees, every website that you go online, like for example eBay or Fitsy or anyone like that, like they'll charge you for commission. So every time that you sell an item that is more than $500, they'll charge you like $65 to $75 for that item. Then marketing and promotions, so that means any ad that he wanted to post in any social media, for example, Instagram, Facebook, or any social media like that, we wanted to make a budget for him like around $500 a month. And finally, the inventory preservation, that's really vital. It depends on about the quality of his products, or the quality of the antiques, and that we don't define that as a certain number. So that's all. And thank you guys for listening us, and hope you guys enjoy it. Questions?
Here, I'll start with some comments. I don't know, are we supposed to go in sequence or just speak up? Okay. I thought. Okay. I thought you were very good. I read your submission and now observing your presentation. I thought you were very good in describing the details of the market segment and the industry itself. I actually enjoyed reading it, and I don't enjoy reading a whole lot of business plans. Anyway, I thought your narrative flowed very smoothly. You talked about the industry, the market, the competition, and everything. Now, now I'm going to be nasty. Your submission was late, very late. And I am just going to say, in the real world, whether you are responding to the public or the private sector, if it's an RFP, a proposal, whatever it happens to be, if you are late in your response, you may be disqualified and your response may never be considered. So I just caution you about that. Timeliness is as important as accuracy, which brings me to the second point where I'm going to be nasty. And that is, when you described your expenses in the narrative, in the plan itself, pages 21, 22, and 23, you talked about estimates by month for each one, year one and year two. One of the first things to do is recheck your calculations. Yeah. There was an error in your year one high-end estimate. You actually were almost $3,000 above your line item summation. And I only caution you about that because sometimes an executive who may be reviewing your plan will look at the executive summary and then turn all the pages very quickly looking for financial numbers. That's what they look at. But overall, I think you did a very, very nice job. The SWOT analysis, I don't remember if you were the ones who did. Okay, wait a minute. I just wanted to say something about the SWOT, but I'll let somebody else speak.
Great job, guys.
Thank you.
The written presentation was awesome. A lot more details, I think, there than what you presented today. But I did have two questions for you. My first question was from the target audience. There was no mention to any type of B2B business that you could bring in. It could be decorators. It could be stagers for other businesses that are looking for furniture and special pieces. Any particular reason why you didn't go that route and you kind of stuck with more high-end consumers?
I mean, since the business is really particular, I know that the target audience can change a lot. So basically, like this type of galleries, they are dedicated to sell antiques to older people or older generations, and that's why we try to invest all the money of the budget just to to go more online and focuses more online so that he can attract a younger generation and not be only very specific on that older generation. Also the fact that the store is located in Chestnut Hill and it's like a really old generation there in Chestnut Hill College specific. That's kind of the target that he's actually selling for.
Okay, that's a good question, or good answer. That leads into my next question. When you separated your year plans, for the first year, it was a lot about promoting online, a lot of digital marketing.
Yeah.
For your second year, you talk about going online for sales. Why not doing some of that in the first year? Like, what would your call to action be if you're going to market digitally? People can't just click to the store, right? Because there's no online store to go to.
Yeah, we decided to do the second year because he needs to start from the beginning because as we said, like the owner is not even in the store sometimes. So the fact that there's no one in the store, like he don't have employee, so he needs to solve some issues first. Like for example, the fact of a store, but the fact of attracting like new people to the store and having like more people. And once he got that part from the business, he could actually plan on going to online. Also, as we don't know the budget, we don't know how much he will need to get actually online or how much he'll need to get in a loan to get already in line. So that's why we decided to do the second year.
But it could also be the first year. It could also be the first year. The thing is, he doesn't have a catalog of the items he's got.
Right.
So like his store has a lot of antiques. It's just they are all over the place. So probably would take for him first to hire someone to help him create a catalog and then start listing on eBay, Etsy, or even on Facebook Marketplace,
Yep.
Which is free. And that's why, but it's not necessarily the second year. We could start the first year whenever that's done.
Yep, you
Just
could
an
scale
estimate.
and have a mini catalog
Yeah,
with 10
exactly.
items, just so you have something for people to
Yeah.
click on. Great job, guys.
I actually enjoyed reading your report as well. I thought it was beautifully written, very easy to understand. There are a couple of things that did confuse me a little bit, though. One is following up on the target market, that as you're giving your presentation, you talked about it being for wealthy buyers. But then a lot of what you're doing is targeted towards like Gen Z and younger people, like going on Instagram and so forth. Is that really a good market to target and spend those dollars on if they can't really afford the products being offered? Question one.
Yeah, actually, a lot of he wanted us to target the upper class because he's got a lot of expensive stuff there, and he said that he wants the upper class not just because they have the money, but also because they appreciate the antiques he's got, and also there are a lot of upper class people that are on Facebook Marketplace, in Etsy and eBay. The antique section for example, in eBay is really big. You can find buyers from different ages, and that's why we are trying to get on eBay as soon as possible so he can start selling his antiques everywhere in the U.S. and not just limited to Chestnut Hill area.
Okay, and other question for you is one of your recommendations, which I think is a great recommendation. When you first went there, you thought that the store might be closed because the door was locked. I know a lot of jewelry stores and others do that for security reasons. Did you talk to the owner to find out why operationally he does that? Apparently he doesn't have a lot of employees. Maybe he's in the back room working on things. I'm just wondering if that's something he'd even consider without additional staffing.
So the reasoning for the locked doors and doorbells is because he's afraid of theft, because he does have a lot of valuable items in there. But we did suggest that maybe he should get a security officer there that can monitor everyone in the store. He does have multiple cameras in there as well to help monitor customers that come in and out. But yeah, that was his main reasoning for having the locked door and the doorbell to get in.
I had the same question, but other stores have managed to make it user-friendly where they have a sign, we are open, please ring. It's for their safety, for the safety of the employees, and for the protection of the assets. So I think there is an opportunity to still stay safe without having the additional expense of security guard, which isn't included in your financials. A few things that I have is one is you're looking at the younger generation. Yes, they are into sustainability, but most of them, you guys can't afford an apartment. And if you do, it's a one-bedroom. You're not going to have room for these things. Why did you not look at what are the sustainable things that would attract a younger generation? because they're not going to look at the grand piano or the, big clock. They're looking at something that fits in, furniture that they could use and would be sustainable.
So I'll say the idea is more like to attract the younger generation, but it's not like the target market say. So we can say that, for example, since the store is closed and they can know too much information about their store, by posting all these pictures or posting all these antiques, even though the younger generation cannot afford it, will make the younger generation tell their older generation, oh, hey, Dad, look, there's an antique gallery that looks pretty fancy. We can get it for Christmas. So it's just more attracting the target than selling for the younger generation. That's why it's like more an attractive thing.
Thank you.
And also, he's got a lot of expertise in antiques, and it's in the business plan. We came up with the idea of doing a podcast where he can tell the story behind every single antique, so he can attract a younger generation because he's got pieces from Italy, from Greece, from India. So probably if you see that piece and you don't have a background, or you don't know where is it coming from, probably younger generations are going to be like, it makes no sense for me to buy something expensive. But if they listen to the podcast on Instagram or Facebook talking about the story behind every single piece, probably that's going to attract them and buy those pieces.
Yeah, that was an excellent recommendation. In your financial analysis, what happens to the $30,000 per employee for each employee that I don't see it in here? And also year 2 seems to be pretty cheap. How in heaven's name are you going to maintain the databases? I mean, you're on Instagram, you're looking at all of these different things, and they don't have the staff to really maintain it and update it and do all the things that you're asking them to do without additional staffing.
Yeah, that's the thing, like the question is very particular because we didn't have the chance to know any financials or how he's doing or what are his expenses or what's his budget. But I mean, we know for a fact that he'll need that. So since we don't know the expenses, we don't know exactly what he can do to actually afford it or how much will he need as a loan or something like that. So because we don't know his expenses and we don't know exactly any finance, so that's why it's kind of like not very specific.
And also with one or two people is enough to maintain updated the Instagram, Facebook account, and the listings. I worked before with some businesses back home, and I was in charge of the social media and the TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and it was not a big job. Like, it was not a big work. So that's why we estimated that 2 employees, they can be marketing intern from Chestnut Hill College, would be enough to help him with those accounts.
Okay, the description of the 2 people that you gave here was not that. It was more of sales and increasing sales, not maintaining databases.
Yeah.
Good presentation.
Yeah, I just wanted to say good presentation and a suggestion maybe when you're working with him, if he's open to different ideas, is whether or not he's looked to the future in succession planning. If this is a business that he's owned by himself and he has no plan as to what's going to happen in the future, if he wants to sell it, to have these platforms and different technologies in place can only help, I would think.
Guys, I want to say again, great presentation. You guys spoke very well, so great job on that. I did want to say that I would like to have a little bit more specific information. You guys gave very general, so yes, having an online presence is going to increase sales, but I would like to know how much, like how many people. So though there is information that the client couldn't provide to you, this is an opportunity for you to study the market. So know how many people buy antiques a year, how much revenue, annual revenue they could generate, and how much cost per acquisition of clients could have been for the person. And also getting online sales, I wanted to know how much the delivery cost would be, because I imagine this is not something you could just deliver through FedEx or UPS simply. So that's a cost that I was definitely interested in. But you guys still did a very good job. Just know that if the client can't provide the information, there's still business and market information you can provide to make anybody listening to the presentation even more excited for your goals. But still, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, my suggestion is, I know you guys mentioned a lot of things that you want to offer to the business, but I think when you sit down and figure out what the future plans are of the owner, because you mentioned that he's not there from time to time. People don't know if they're open or not. So if his business is just a hobby, there's no point for you to coming in and trying to do all this work. You should figure out exactly what he wants maybe 5 years from now, if he plans to sell it, as she mentioned, or 10 years if he's passing the business down to a family member. That way, you know, if he plans to grow, then maybe you need to get online, as you mentioned. But if his goal is to just enjoy his hobby, comes in there a few days a week, sells a few things, then maybe you just need to define that and figure out what he wants to do.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you've had time to deliberate, you've had time to think and talk and discuss and argue and whatever, and have you made a decision? Yes. Who would like to, make sure, where's the microphone so it gets?
So I have the honor of that. First, I want to congratulate everyone. All of you did a great job. We can see the work that you put into everything. We all want to mention that this is an amazing opportunity. When I presented my senior sem, it was individual. And we created our idea, we presented it. This gives you a real life scenario. And it's something that you could all learn from, because you will present to clients. You will present to other people in other departments. And you need to come organized, come on time. Present things in an efficient way, so not bombard them with information. So this is a great opportunity. I hope all of you got a lot out of this. Excuse me. Some presentations stood out. We want to, the reasons that they stood out, everybody could be polished, everybody is gonna become better. That's gonna come with time and experience. But we felt that some of them showed a lot of dedication, a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of organizations, and those are the ones that we wanna award the Shark Tank to. The Griffin Tank, sorry. The Griffin Tank. Yeah. So the two teams that we would like to award is to the Antique Gallery and the Barn at Springbrook. Yeah, we got more to say, guys. Okay.
Nelson.
You're part of the group. Come on.
I remember that one.
Just a picture.
Ready?
Guys. Guys, congratulations. You all did a great work. You have created a great foundation that you guys are going to do great when you're presenting. Any career that you guys go into, you're going to have mishaps. You're going to have people who don't provide information, on time. You just got to be flexible in everything you did. You guys did all a great job. To the Barn at Springbrook, we love your passion. We could see that you guys cared. We love that you guys went above and beyond using networking connections. Anything that you can use to be helpful is always a great thing. The presentation was beautiful. We even personally all have like an interest. We're like, oh, I want to go check out this place now. And that's how well you guys did a presentation. So congrats to you. To the Antique Gallery, your paper was one of the most professional ones that I saw. It looked like something that I can see in my day-to-day business. So you guys did a great job there, worked with the client, understood things. My one suggestion I would say, never generalize anything, any ideas. Older people could use technology too. But I also say this because as young people, we get generalized often. You get generalized, sorry, I'm including myself in that. But you will get generalized often as being new people, new entry level, or he doesn't know a lot. And you could probably have a lot of potential to you. So don't do anything to others that you wouldn't want done to yourself as well. Okay, but overall, you guys did a fantastic job. I am rooting for you, and we all want the best for you moving forward. Okay?
The lateness piece.
Oh, and yes, and again, we're awarding this, but not to say nobody was perfect. To the team that was a little late with their paper, you were awarded this in spite of that. Again, these are real life scenarios. I have been told the day of, hey, this is not going to happen because I could have made a mistake. Understood? So please take the win, but also take the lessons that come from this. Okay?
Don't leave yet, don't leave. I have to.